So, you have decided to have an outdoors adventure, become an explorer, or just stay outside the city walls for several days. If you're a living being, then you probably have to eat and drink to survive. An ordinary human needs 3 meals per day. GURPS basic set has traveler's rations on page 288. Each ration costs $2 and weighs half a pound. You also need 2 quarts of water per day in temperate climates, 3 quarts in hot climates, and 5 quarts in the heat of the desert. The wineskin on page 288 holds 9 pounds of water or 4 quarts of water, and a canteen holds 2 pounds of water or 1 quart of water. GURPS Low-Tech has more detailed container tables. Starvation makes you lose FP, while dehydration can cause FP and HP loss. Daily food and water requirements scale with size modifier. These adjustments can be found on pages 62 to 64 of GURPS Biotech. These rules are realistic. If you want something simpler, just scale the rations like any other gear. If you cannot afford this much food or water, or if you simply cannot carry this much, you'll have to resort to foraging. As usual, GURPS has multiple rule sets for that, depending on how detailed you want to treat it. The basic rules for foraging are described on page 427 of GURPS basic set. When traveling, each character can forage on the move. There are 2 types of foraging, gathering and hunting. Gathering requires a successful survival or naturalist roll to collect enough plants, berries and mushrooms for 1 meal. Critical failure means poisoning yourself or your friends. Hunting requires a successful roll with a missile weapon skill or fishing, if near water of course, and results in 2 meals worth of meat. Each forager can roll once for gathering and once for hunting per day. Alternatively, the party can stop for a day and have each character make 5 rolls for gathering and 5 rolls for hunting to replenish supplies. These rules are quite simple and probably are enough for games that do not focus on survival. They do not say anything about finding water, however. GURPS Dungeon Fantasy 2 Dungeons provides a very simplified way that should work for games that really do not want to focus on traveling and survival. If you are camping outside of the town, you can make a single weekly survival roll not to starve. When traveling, roll fishing, survival or naturalist once per trip. Success collects just half the necessary food. GURPS Dungeon Fantasy 16 Wilderness Adventures suggest a more granular approach. Each character can make 1 skill roll per hour, dedicated to foraging instead of travel. Each terrain type has a foraging modifier that I mentioned in the video on overland travel. They apply here. Taking extra time gives a bonus, +1 for 2 hours, +2 for 4, +3 for 8, and +4 for a day spent not traveling at all. Experts can try once per half hour at -5. Critical success finds 2 meals. Success gives 1. Failure yields nothing, and critical failure means 1 HP lost. The book has rules for gathering food for mounts and beasts of burden, which is very nice. There are 4 types of foraging rolls now. Fishing. Obviously it is possible only near water. Gathering. Just like in the basic set, this is done with survival or naturalist skills. Hunting. Roll against any ranged weapon skill at -4 plus the weapon's accuracy. For missile weapons, each roll costs 1 piece of ammunition. Thrown weapons are recovered on any roll but a critical failure. Alternatively, heroes can try spear to hunt up close, but critical failure costs 1 DHP due to mauling. When traveling by water, the GM may allow hunting with thrown weapon harpoon. Whatever the skill, success catches game. Trapping. On land, a survival roll, or a traps -5 roll. Capture small game. The book suggests not tracking water supplies, and treating each meal gained via foraging as having enough water to meet survival needs. In deserts, however, the GM may require each character to make 1 additional daily survival roll to find water. If you do want to track water supplies, then consider using rules from GURPS after the end too, the New World. Locating water requires a prospecting or survival roll at +10 in most climates, or no modifier in the desert. Success finds margin of success +1 pints of water, or an effectively unlimited amount on success by 10 or higher. If fresh water is nearby, when you have a river or a lake nearby, do not bother rolling, just assume that water isn't an issue. Additional rolls may be required to find safe water in a despoiled environment. The same book has similar rules for foraging for food, but slightly altered. The amount of food found is different, and complementary skill rolls are given. I would definitely use these complementary skill rolls. Finally, there is GURPS Low-Tech Companion 3, Daily Life and Economics. This book has an entire chapter devoted to finding food. Rules for gathering are similar to those in Dungeon Fantasy 16, but a bit more detailed. Rules for fishing are similar too, but again, more detailed and granular. Rules for hunting and trapping, however, have been greatly expanded, covering different hunting techniques for different kinds of animals, rules for butchering, and many more. Simplified hunting rules can be also found in GURPS After the End 2, The New World. GURPS Low-Tech Companion 3 even has rules for whaling. So, as you can see, you have many options. If you do not want to track anything, just require a weekly survival roll. If you want something more detailed, then use the rules from the basic set. If you want even more detail, consider GURPS Dungeon Fantasy 16 and GURPS After the End 2. And if you want the highest level of detail, use GURPS Low-Tech Companion 3. Personally, I use rules from GURPS Dungeon Fantasy 16 as they appeal to me the most. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.